Hello parents, I'm Mr. Howard Yu. Today I'd like to share with you about the post-prelim reflection and peaking towards PSLE, as many students have got back their science prelim paper. So I also take the opportunity to explain some tricky questions to the parents here. I was a former MOEP teacher and also a former PSLE science marker representing Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School in marking the science section B questions for 3 times. So I like to engage you in these questions. As you can see here, this is a very typical questions testing students' understanding of condensation. The students are required to explain how white clouds will form when the freezer door is being opened. So you can see that this child only received 0 mark or did not receive any mark for this question. So it's important to teach this concept that the water vapor with higher temperature from the surrounding or of the surrounding lost heat to the air with lower temperature from the freezer and condense to form tiny water droplets, which appears as white clouds. Why we do not use air or we cannot use air? Because you remember in primary 5, the student do learn about a topic on air is a mixture. So air actually consists of nitrogen 78% and oxygen 21% plus other gases and including water vapor. So if the student use the air loss heat, so it means that if the temperature is low enough, do you really get liquid nitrogen or liquid oxygen? So as educators, we need to teach our students, do not use the word air because air do not condense. It's actually the water vapor in the air lost heat to the interface. So in this situation, the interface is the water vapor in the air lost heat to the air with lower temperature from the freezer. So it's very important to take note of this. And you can also revisit the explanation through my One Academy Science Howard YouTube channel. Do like and subscribe and view. So this is a typical questions which appears in this year's 2021 science prelim examinations. And let's see these questions. Mr. Tan took out a big bowl of ice cream from the freezer. He noticed mist forming above the ice cream as shown below here. Explain how the mist is formed. So this is how one of my students answered. She mentioned the warmer water vapor came into contact with the cooler surface of the ice cream, and this part was being underlined by the marker, lost heat and condensed to form water droplets, which appear as mist. Okay, let us examine. Some of you may ask, why is she marked wrong? Cool. At first, I also thought that perhaps the marker have not careful in marking her wrong, because you can see here, her conceptual understanding is correct, because indeed the surrounding, the warmer water vapor actually came into contact with the cooler surface of the ice cream and indeed lost heat and condensed to form tiny water droplets, which appear as white mist. But to be more specific, it's actually the warmer water vapor from the surrounding came into contact with the air or the cooler air around the ice cream, lost heat, and to form tiny water droplets. So we need to be very careful. So this is the model answer and the key concept, which I believe the examiners are looking for. So you should mention the water vapor with higher temperature from the surrounding lost heat to the air with lower temperature around the ice cream and condensed to form tiny water droplets, which appear as white mist. So as I mentioned here, we need to be very specific, avoid using terms like warmer air or cooler air. However, if your child or your students perhaps may be weaker in memorizing, it can be simplified by saying the warmer water vapor from the surrounding lost heat to the cooler air around the ice cream and condensed to form tiny water droplets, as being demonstrated here through the answer key. So the other thing I like to teach parents and also share with educators is, you see, usually we drink coffee or hot drinks, right? If you wear glasses, if you blow in to the hot content inside, occasionally you may see your glasses being fogged, as in this demonstration here. So we can use live example to show student like about the effects of condensation. So for example, just now as I blow into my cup of hot tea, you can see the warmer, we can't see actually, we can see the effects. The warmer water vapor actually comes into contact with the cooler surface of my glass, lost heat and condense to form tiny water droplets, which form the fogging. So I'd like to do a screen share to encourage students, parents, and educators that we can actually record some of these things for our students to enjoy on YouTube. So just give me a second as I proceed to launch the YouTube. This is one of my YouTube video explaining one of the questions in the 2020 PSLE Science on frozen food. Let us take a look at this question. With 15 or 14 degrees, and this is a actual frozen meat, which is actually more healthy fish. You can see I've taken this from the freezer, and by scraping here, actually, I can scrape there's actually thin layer of ice being formed. So as we learn science, I urge parents to also let your child to experience the feeling. This is called experiential science learning, scientific experiential application learning, SEAL. So they can feel the ice here, they scrape off the ice. This is help them to visualize and to appreciate what they have learned in theory, put into practice. As I mentioned here, so the questions which the student answered earlier about the ice cream, we can use this as a comparative teaching, because in the earlier example is the warmer water vapor comes into contact with the cooler air around the ice cream, lost heat and form the mist. But in this situation, it's a bit unique. The warmer water vapor lost heat to the cooler surface of the plastic wrapping. Actually, they form water droplets first, but the water droplets undergo further cooling below the freezing point of water, and it formed this so-called the ice flakes, which I mentioned here. So this is one important aspect that we can use different examples to teach the concept of condensation and also freezing. So I hope that you enjoy and continue listening to my explanation. So returning to this 2021 science prelim questions, let us examine once again. So we mentioned about the water vapor with higher temperature from the surrounding lost heat to the air with lower temperature around the ice cream and condense to form tiny water droplets, which appear as white mist. The other technique we can use is called annotation. As I drew this ice cream in green, just like the green tea ice cream, and this actually represents the air around the ice cream. And this is the water vapor from the surrounding the arrow. So actually when the air around the ice cream touches or in contact with the ice cream, it will lose heat. So the warmer water vapor from the surrounding comes into contact with this cooler air. They will lose heat and condense to form tiny water droplets, which appear as the mist. So this is one way we can use annotation to help students appreciate, because some students are more of visual learners. So by annotating this or drawing this, we can help them appreciate these questions better. And for teachers going through this question in this particular school, you can also extract this video to teach your student to memorize it, and also can repeat viewing in my YouTube channel. So do subscribe and view my One Academy Science Harvard YouTube channel. And let me introduce you to this question. Also, is a prelim question this year. By examining the setup of this, the reason I present this because this student under my training for less than 6 months, she's able to score full marks for these questions. And I'm very proud of her because not many students can be awarded the full 5 marks in one 5-mark question in the PSLE science examination. So well done, this student. And this is one of the publications where you can actually purchase from me online or through mail order to help students understand how to use the scientific concepts in answering questions. So as this is the pricing and also the contact to help students for the last minute, or they can, for more visual learners, they actually can subscribe to my One Academy Science Harvard. In some of this video, I do introduce some of the pages in this book and how to use this book to its full extent. And also good news for parents, teachers, and educators. Coming this Thursday, I have this free coaching session during lunchtime, picking towards PSLE. I'm being hosted by Miss Jaslyn Locke. She is Singapore's first tactical parenting strategist. So I'm very thankful that I'm invited by her to share with parents, educators on how to help your child to pick towards PSLE. Because actually this coming week is quite critical. When they receive their results, we need to be encouraging, although they may not score to the expected result which they want or which we want, but there are some strategies we can help our child, help our students to pick towards the PSLE. So I warmly welcome you to join me in this interview by Miss Jaslyn Locke, Singapore's first tactical parenting strategist. So once again, I'm Mr. How are you? I wish you all the best in your coming preparation and also enjoy the coming 1 week September holiday. I know that some of you may need to return to school, but teachers and parents, do not overstress your child or your student because they need this period to rest, to recover, to recharge, and to re-engage towards their PSLE. I wish you all the best. Take care, stay safe, and God bless. Bye.